alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning and welcome to our show, Saudi Morning. Today is Sunday. Just a new week means new dreams, new goals, and new wishes. And may Allah make all your dreams and wishes come true, inshallah. At the beginning, let me talk to you about this. I don't call it a story because it's not a story. It's just a situation. Two mothers, let's call them Mother A and Mother B, pass by one cleaning guy in the street. Mother A says to her child, "You should study and work so hard in order not to be like this person." While Mother B says that you should study and work so hard in order to help this person. Of course, there are like two different indicators for this message, and just I'm leaving this comment to you. But now let me welcome my colleague who is here in the studio, who will be joining us for today's episode. I'm sure that you know him, and now you are seeing him on the screen, so no need for me to say his name, but just his name is Sulaiman Haifi. I'm sure you know him. Assalamu alaikum, Sulaiman. Good morning.
Welcome, Hanan. Definitely good morning to our dear viewers. Yeah, and the scenario you've mentioned, I saw it on Facebook and a lot of media outlets, and it really goes to show of how people definitely think of it or the situation. Because for Mother A to say, like, do not be like him, or this is something I feel like, yes, I understand it. She wants to encourage the child, yes, but I feel like it's the wrong way of going. Because situations like that, you know, the person did not have a bright future, good opportunity. But Mother B, she informed him that do something to help people like him, whether it's housing or something. Be the person that you want to see the change in the world. Instead of people complaining, they should definitely, instead of complaining about the problem, be the solution to the problem. You know, many people will think about, it's like how many people want to having change, and everyone will be raising their hand. Okay, who wants to be the change? Who wants to go ahead and change something in their life? But no one will raise their hand. It really goes to show of how you want to make an aspect or a change in the world. For many people, they say, I want to grow up, I want to be rich, I want to be powerful. Okay, for what are you going to do the power and that rich for? Say I want to be rich and powerful to help other people, to use the power I have and the influence or financial influence I have to assist the poor, to assist the needy, to assist the innocent and the hopeless. For individuals who have no hope, they've lost everything, they're struggling through life. This is what I feel like this is a change in the world that we need to see, and it's something that I wish we see it now, but I feel like with technology, it's getting a little there. Because there have been a lot of messages like what you mentioned on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, social medias in general. And people are trying to influence people for the better good. They change their mentality or mindset from what they used to think and how they should think to be more productive. Have you noticed that nowadays, say go to Instagram, you see a lot of encouragement comments, memes, something like that, to go ahead and have some type of good change. One of the change is like, if you want to see something good happen in your life, you should not wait for someone else. You should wait for yourself when you decide to do the change. And this is something that's true. Many individuals who you see become very successful, they've done the change, and they look, oh my God, this guy must be too smart, he must have something that I never had. There are the individuals who had nothing. For example, you remember Steve Jobs. You know, this is one of the biggest examples.
I remember, and I know him.
You know, this is the biggest example. This guy was at a young age, his father was poor, his mother was poor. He was very involved in technology. He felt like he can do something. And there was a message that I saw, I don't know if it's true or not, but this is very inspirational, saying that he told his mother, I want to do a change in this world that is no change like any other. And he created the Apple company, and look at him now. And it's surprising. People think, oh my God, he just became that good and everything. That's not true. He created a previous company and they fired him from it. His own company, they fired him. And then he came back and created a bigger company, and even now it's worldwide. Everyone in the world knows Apple, everyone knows the brand, everyone knows the quality, and everyone knows the accessories that provide the services and everything. This is definitely a type of benchmark that he's set for the technology world, and people try to meet it or try to achieve it, but it really goes to show he wanted the change in his life. He went for the change, and he only relied on himself. So this is, I think, the biggest advice I would like to give. If you want to see a type of change, do not wait for other people. Wait for yourself, and the day that you decide, I want to be the change, and you can go ahead and for it. Because at the end, if you wait for someone else, it will never come.
Very true, and indeed, I strictly agree with you. And just we need just to follow what Sulaiman says, like, to start making the difference. We don't have to wait for other people to encourage us or to push us in order to do something. No, we are all blessed with our minds. We are given different blessings, so we should use those blessings effectively. But now for the moment, let's have an overall look on all the segments we will be having for today. We will start with the news segment, like every day, daily segment, which is on local, international news and caricatures, and then we will be moving to our fitness report with our trainer Ahmed to see what he has for us for today, and then we will start our first main topic for today, which is on learning styles with our educational expert Mrs. Roda Al-Haj, and then we will move to Twitter hashtags with Sliman, and then we will start to discuss our second main discussion for today, which is on STEM science fair, and we are going to have elementary principal here, who is Mrs. Anastasia Gianorisis, and then we will end up with having highlight of the day, in which we discuss in which we have a report and we talk about activity or conference symposium that was held in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So lots of news, and let's get started.
Welcome back, our dear viewers. Now we jump straight into our local news, which is handpicked by our production team. Our first one is going to be King Shares meeting of Fahad Charity Board. Custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman, chaired first trustee meeting of the King Fahad Charity Foundation. Addressing the meeting, the country's leader paid tribute to the late King Fahad, describing him as a personal friend, teacher, and a leader. He praised him for his contribution to the development of the nation, which included education and various forms of philanthropy. So definitely goes to show of how King Salman shared the meeting of King Fahad Charity Board, and mashallah, it was a great success. Now to our second news reading is going to be about skilled and capable of guarding vital installations. Security men showed their skills during the graduation ceremony at a training center in the Haban, northern Jeddah on Tuesday. On behalf of the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Nayef, Deputy Premier and Interior Minister, General Saeed bin Abdullah Al-Qahtani, Assistant Interior Minister for Operations Affairs, presided over the graduation ceremony of 1,423 security men who will be guarding vital installations. Definitely congratulations for all their hard work and of course their sacrifice and continuous study, and it really goes to show it's paid off, so definitely congratulations. Now to our third news reading is going to be about final test of Riyadh Metro train underway. The first phase of the Riyadh Metro project has been completed, with final test taking place of the train for the multi-billion Riyadh public transport system, according to the High Commission for Development of Riyadh. Their train is undergoing tests to check its readiness for Riyadh's climate. So definitely very exciting news. This is a great and first step of the first phase of the Riyadh Metro project being complete. Lots of tests to do, a lot of, as I will say, scenarios to be done, especially to be ready for the Riyadh weather and anything regarding any type of hiccups or speed bumps regarding that one. For now, our final news reading is going to be about workshops promotes attractive work for environment for women. The Ministry of Labor will organize a series of workshops towards an attractive work environment for women in the major cities of Riyadh, Jeddah, and the Eastern Province. The Assistant Undersecretary for Inspection, Development, and Work Environment, Dr. Muhammad Al-Faleh, said the workshop is for workers in the private sector and business women to inform them of the regulations and the work environment for women in private sector enterprises. So definitely goes to show of how the Ministry of Labor has done so much effort, so much work, and lots of preparation and exciting news, especially with about workshop promoting attractiveness work environment for women. That's all for the local news for now. For our viewers, we'll go to our cartoon characters of the day, and we'll join right after. Stay tuned. Welcome back, our dear viewers. That was a very interesting cartoon character today, and it really goes to show a picture says 1,000 words, and many people are not aware of what's happening regarding of the closure of Guantanamo Bay, but definitely the cartoon character for the day definitely speaks for itself. And now we'll take you to all the way to international news, also known as Horizon, which will take you all the way to Cambodia. Hero rats sniff out unexploded mines. African giant pouched rats are being enlisted to help clear Cambodia of land mines. Cambodia is one of the most heavily land-mined countries in the world, with up to 6 million mines and other unexploded ordnance still left in the ground from decades of war. So it goes to show of how they're utilizing rats to kind of sniff out unexploded mines, and hopefully there will be a great success, especially to avoid any injuries or harm to family members, to kids, to anyone being in that area. Now we'll take you to the world in general, where great Russian British art swap Korsakov and Dostoevsky are among a group of famous Russians being swapped for Britain's Queen Elizabeth I and William Shakespeare. The cultural exchange is to celebrate the 160th birthdays of the National Portrait Galleries in Moscow and London. So it goes to show of how beauty the art is, even many years after it's definitely been found, and this is something that I cannot really say much about it, because art itself is a beauty in the eye of the holder. So definitely for anyone interested, go ahead and check it out on the website, and I'm sure you'll see many interesting stuff. That's all for now for our dear viewers. Go ahead and take a quick and short break and be joined right after. Stay tuned.
Welcome back after this new segment, and here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia we are truly blessed with having the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. And like Sliman was just telling us about, he never forgets the late kings, and he kept talking about them and describing their contributions to the society, to the community, and he never forgets his late kings. And like here, all in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, we never forget our kings. And like he described, like the custodian of the two holy mosques described King Fahad bin Abdulaziz as a friend, as a teacher, and a leader for his achievements and his contributions to the society. And very, very wonderful in news, Sliman said. And like I feel that I need to comment on every piece of news, but here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, we cannot wait to see the metro here, the metro project finalized and completed, and women can use it. Women, youth, everyone can use it. It's a very good idea, because unfortunately here we have like many drivers capitalize or use women, because they know that the women need the drivers in order to go to their schools, universities, or different workplaces. But with having metro, many women are going to save a lot of money and are going to use it, inshallah. And now let's listen, man.
You know, the news topic for today was definitely very interesting and very enlightening, because it really goes to show of the growth and, of course, a continuous growth and development here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I'm very proud of that, because it goes to show that we're not where we're at. You know, we've definitely had many setbacks. You know, we're having many complicated stuff that's definitely been happening, kind of delay, and of course, you know, the budget is really affecting the kingdom, and to a certain point where, you know, what we want to do, we have to delay it. It does not mean it's stopped forever. It's kind of delayed, and it's going to be kind of changed up to a little bit, but it does not mean that development has been stopped. Mashallah, yani, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has definitely been improving, from my opinion, faster than many other countries around the world, because from what we're having, we're developing. We're still a young nation at that. You know, for us to develop and for us to grow, you know, technology has definitely been a way of accelerating the growth and the development. So we should definitely be very humble and very happy and continue with the drive of that, and take even more strides regarding this.
Yes.
And this is something that, you know, our foreign minister mentioned in one of the meetings and video I saw. He said, we're still a young nation. From what we're doing now, where we've been and where we are now has not been so long, and we've accomplished. We have setbacks, we having some type of challenges, but at the end we were able to prosper, and we were able to go ahead and overcome that challenge. And for the Saudi people, if we're all together as a unit and as a whole, as a country, and this is something we definitely will be able to go ahead and take it to the next step. You know, look what we have. We have a good education system. We have a healthcare system. We're going to have one of the most expensive Riyadh metro
and
project.
Good military aspect, like you said in the piece of the news, they were practicing and exercising.
1,400 something graduates.
Yes,
so it goes to show that this is a continuous growth. We have defense, we have military, we have technology, we have medical, we have education, and now this, which is going to be something that's going to be the cherry on top of the cake, or the dessert, is going to be regarding the metro project. And this is something that considered the largest metro project in the world, and it's most complicated. I won't say complicated, but it's complicated in depth regarding this, because there's many different factors of it. They just completed the first phase, and now they're doing test trials on it. So it goes to show that we are definitely in the growth, but we are definitely taking good steps to make sure it's done right. Because if we just rush through it, it's going to be so much complicated, too much money wasted. We want to make sure we're taking baby steps, and good things does take time. You know, if it doesn't take time, it's right quickly, it wouldn't been done already. So we should definitely have patience. We should have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we should definitely go ahead and, you know, be supportive. You know, I know there's going to be traffic and everything. There's going to be sacrifices for every good thing, you know what I mean? For us to have a Riyadh Metro project, we need to have sacrificed traffic, detours and everything, and of course patience. So definitely this is something for our viewers to always think about. For now, our viewers will go ahead and take a quick and short break for our fitness expert Ahmed, and we'll be joining us. Stay tuned.
Good morning. Ahmed Mahfouz speaking to you from Fitness First. Welcome to Saudi Morning, personal trainer from Fitness First Saudi Arabia. Today I'm going to show you a step workout. That's a fitness workout, and if you're gonna get more benefits of that, like losing fat, building muscle, and endurance. So step workouts means like you're gonna do some steps but different techniques. So you can do it at home. You can buy this equipment from anywhere, so you can use it at home or whatever. So now I'm going to start for the warm-up, then I will go for the main session, then the cool-down exercise. Cool-down exercise means the stretching. Main session will be the hardest. So I'm going to show you the techniques so you can copy me at home or wherever you want. So now I will go for warm-up. I will go for march, like locomotion. You can do it in music or whatever you want, without or with. But now I'm gonna warm up for 1 minute. Then I will go for the next level, like steps. One. You can do each movement like 2 to 3 minutes. Like you go up, down until you go for the next level. So now I will move to the next level. Knees up. Your techniques will be like that. Knees up, higher. Chest up, Always look forward and inhale, exhale. Next, like side kick. I can use some weight with me when I'm moving in my hands or in my shoulder.
Thank you so much for our trainer Ahmed for these types of exercises we have daily here. And again, the key is to do them, the key is to follow them and exercise. Start with something very simple and then you can increase it gradually. But now for the moment we are going to, let me introduce our first main discussion for today, which will be on learning styles, something very interesting and I'm sure that many of us can relate to, and all of us of course have different experiences regarding this. At the beginning, let me say that learning style technically refers to the preferential way in which the student or which the learner absorbs, processes, comprehends and retain information. Very exciting about it. And here in the studio we are going to have Mrs. Rola Al-Haj, who is an educational expert. Of course this is like weekly segment and we are glad to have her here every Sunday. But now for the moment, let's go. Let's see a very short report and then we will be right back.
Welcome back, our dear viewers. That was a brief report which is about learning style. And with our next esteemed guest, we'd like to welcome to the show Mrs. Rula Haji Isa, who's the educational expert. We definitely have more insights regarding learning styles. And learning style is something that's very, very important, because for a student or a parent or a teacher, they need to understand what's their learning style, how to put that into what you're trying to learn. Because at the end, if you are very strong in visual, very strong in listening, very strong into kinetic, which is like hands-on, you have to try to make an activity what you're strong on. Because at the end, if you don't do it, you're not able to learn, you'll have challenges and everything with her. So we'll definitely welcome Mrs. Rula Haji Isa to the show and have more discussion regarding. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Alaikum salam. Good morning to you, both of you.
Mrs. Rula, learning styles, we were discussing briefly, you and Hanan, during the break, which is about the three type of learning style. But first of all, tell us what it is, learning style.
Let me tell you what. Now, nowadays, scientists start to find out that learning is something that when you give it for the learners, the students, some of them they understand, some other students they don't understand. Later on, they found that this student who understood, they understood because the material was given to them with a way or style different from the other student, that the way that they do understand with, they didn't take it.
So the material like matches their learning style.
This is why
more
they
than
understood.
The other types.
So they understood, but the other student they didn't understand. Later on, they tried to do another tool or use more tools. So all of the class start to understood. So they found out that there are different learners with different styles, and each student will understood with different way. Here it comes the main three learning styles, which are visual, auditorium, and kinetic, the people who like to do. And the teachers start to use this type of styles with their tools, with their preparation to give the student the material.
I see. And what's the overall benefit of using each one? Because from what I've seen, I've noticed a lot of teachers, they will explain the lecture, then they will make a diagram or a picture or information on the board, and while explaining again, then they will have like a little project for people to work, and then they have to explain to the classroom.
You know, like we were talking before during we were watching the report, we and both of us, three of us, that who will get benefit? The teacher at the beginning will get benefit. It's much easier for the teacher to do different types of teaching, because if
it's
the
easy
teacher,
for her if they learned it quicker.
yes, when they learned quicker, it's easy for her or for him, because they don't have to repeat more than like 2, 3 times, 4 times. But if they use different tools, like they start by saying, then they start by using diagrams, pictures, small videos, short videos, or they start with like small hands-on, small activity to do in the class. The student will understand, and the whole class will understood, because the teacher used the common 3 styles of teaching.
But Mrs. Rula, from your own experience, I'm not expert in this, but from your own point of view, don't you think that like trying to cover every lesson with the 3 different ways, is it going to have like, are we going to have enough time for that?
Yeah.
Or it requires more time? Like regarding the time management thing, the teacher can manage it effectively,
yes,
or fast,
yes,
or no, it needs like time? Because you know, sometimes like if you want to go over and over the same lesson like 3 more times, we are going to have like to require more than 45 minutes.
Yeah, let me tell you what. The learning styles, it's differ from teacher and from the students. So the teacher will know the learning styles to prepare herself or himself to give the different ways for teaching. But the student will know themselves, especially for the older students, so they know where they can understand more. Okay, if I am a teacher and I have my lesson, let's say it's like when you buy something cloth, when you buy a free size cloth, it will not work like this for students. You cannot just get one size and say this size will fit you all.
Yes.
We have 7 different types of learners in the class. We have the visual, we have the auditorium, we have the people who like to do the hands-on, we have the people who like to do social, prefer to work with the groups, and we have the people on the opposite side, they like to work by themselves. They don't like to work with the group. So these people, they cannot work if we didn't prepare for them, the teacher didn't prepare for them what is suitable for them. Some students, they are physical, they like to do it, they like to do the hands-on, they like to do the projects. Some other students, they are physical, they like to use their body, they like to use their hands, they like to move around the class. It shouldn't be all the tools in each and every class, but we have like 40 to 45 minutes in the class. If we are giving a new idea, like if we say like I'm reading, when the teacher starts the new story, they will have it like 1.5 to 2 weeks. During all this time, she can repeat the vocabularies in different ways, use different tools. Shouldn't be in the same class. For the math teacher, when they start a new idea, they have a new concept to give for the student, they can start by writing it on the board. Later on, she can get the student outside on the board and write by themselves with different colors, or they can use magnets. It depends on the idea that the teacher prepared. Later on, she can put for them like anything auditory, hearing. They would hear to also that will help for the other type of student to understand. The 45 minutes are enough for the teacher if she prepare herself earlier and with the tools that are suitable for the thing they're going to do.
Indeed. And Mrs. Rula, how important for a teacher to understand what's the learning style for each student? Because I'm sure it's like a classroom of 30, 25, even 40 sometimes, large classrooms. There's going to be too many different learning styles. And of course, some of them will have more than one, maybe 3, maybe 2, maybe 1, maybe even 5. But how can a teacher really pinpoint how to go ahead and attract this child's learning style?
Okay, let me tell you what. If we are talking about the student they don't like to work with the groups, and the teacher wants them to work with the group, to be engaged. The teacher will try the first time, the second time, but later on she needs to give him space to work by himself. It shouldn't be all the time group working. So by knowing learning styles, the teacher will know that this student, usually it's not more than 2 students in the class who are solitary. They don't like work with the group. They will give them space to work by themselves. And other type of student, they cannot work by themselves. They need the group to work together.
Sure.
When they work by themselves, they will fail. But when they work with the group, they will succeed.
To copy other ones.
And not only to copy Salman,
no, it's
more like
like a brainstorming together.
Brainstorming, they love to brainstorm. They love to help the others, and they're
very social.
Sometimes they are excellent, but they like to work with the other people. They like to social. They like to help the other to do, because when you start to help the other to do, explain, they will understand by themselves. This is why it's very important for the teacher to know the learning styles, because when they prepare themselves for the class, for the new subject they are teaching this week, they know how to teach it, which tools to use, and it's much easier for the teacher to work with this way, because if they work with the, like say, traditional way, just the board and the marker, it will take them longer time, and they have to do a lot of repetition in the class, and not most of the students, maybe she will miss like 4 or 5 in the class who didn't understood what was in
Indeed. But regarding this point, Mrs. Rula, I have something here. It's very good for the teacher. I truly believe that it's very good for the teacher to vary between the methods she uses, because like you said, between the group and the individual work activities, I mean, from that the teacher can evaluate the students individually. So this is something good. And regarding the groups, she can enhance their communication skills. She can make them like more friendly, like each other more. So like applying different approaches, different methodology is very important for
the student and the class.
But now we can't wait to continue our informative discussion, but we should go on a short report, and then we'll be right back. Just 2 minutes or less.
Welcome back, our viewers. So obviously the report was definitely not 2 minutes. It was more about 3 or 4. But definitely going back to our topic of discussion with Ms. Rula Hajj Al-Aisa, which was about learning style. This is definitely something that's very interesting because we want to definitely get more information regarding this. Because for me, I didn't realize there was learning styles until you graduate and everything. Then you realize I should have been becoming more involved in understanding how I approached it.
It's very important for the learner to know which style they do. Like for me, whenever I start to do something or learn something, I need to write it. I need to see it in a paper. I cannot just hear it by my ear because I'm a visual person.
But how can I know my learning style? Am I supposed to go and to have like those personal tests online and
sometimes it's
to do different?
Yeah, but look at self when you are learning. What do you prefer? Do you prefer to listen to what like if you are taking a lecture? Do you prefer to listen to the lecture or you prefer just to read it on a paper? Do you enjoy looking at the pictures regarding to the lecture, or you just enjoy putting a headset and listen for the things that we're giving? For me, I cannot take a lecture by listening. I need to see it. I need to have it in a book. Sometimes reading books also will help you to understand which type you are. If you can read books online, or you need the book to be
touched, and you mean to physically you can hold it. Yes,
true.
So
because
this helps you to
prefer
decide.
Different ways. Like many people prefer to read novels online and they subscribe and everything online. Others no, we should go to the bookstore, we should pick it up, and we should check the material of the page and the book.
Yeah. Indeed, and this is something I've noticed that many individuals, how can they combine like 2 or 3 at the same time? Because I feel like the more involved they are into the type of learning styles, like adding more factors to that, will that help them to understand and comprehend and be able to have higher grades and scores in exams?
Usually when you do programs, it will help you to understand what's going on around you. Like when you see the material you're working with, and after that you listen to this material, you go back and write the material. That will help you a lot to score better in your exams.
I see, indeed. And can you tell us more about regarding for individuals who are having many type of challenges, say learning itself, you know, there are whether dyslexic or people having concerns, for them to learn, you know, as I will say, slow learners, more challenges. Can they incorporate one of them to help kind of speed up or to assist them to try to catch up to the other students?
It will help, but let me tell you what, at the beginning, dyslexics and slow learners, they need their own way of teaching, especially repetition. They need more repetition, more than the regular students. If they were good and they get the material, they do understand it, and they will try to help the others, that will help them a lot to do, to understand, and for themselves to understand what is the subject they are doing.
Indeed. And for me, I want to learn my learning style. Is there somewhere I can go online, or is there something, a book I can see? Because I'm sure, I feel like yes, maybe this learning style will work with me. Say maybe 5 out of 7, 4 out of 7, but I want to have one that really definitely is the strongest one. Maybe 1, 2, or even 3. How do I go about it? I want to make sure that I'm able to understand the information the quickest way.
There's a lot of specialists who can help to do this. You can go to a specialist, or you can go surf in the internet for special exams. That will help for you to determine which learning styles. A lot of YouTubes talk about determining which learning style you are in. Some of them have like things to do, and later on you can small tests to check.
And then you can see, and then like after time, like you're supposed to understand yourself.
It's very easy. It's very easy for you. For you, when you understand yourself, it's easy for you to deal with the other also.
Very true. But Mrs. Rule, let me ask you this: we have different learning styles, but as a person, am I supposed to have like only one person? So this is like a rule, or sometimes we have exceptions, like we can combine between 2 or 3 or even more different learning styles.
It can be combination between 2 styles. Like it can be a student with a visual learning style, and they like to work in a group, social worker. Can be like auditorium style, likes to hear, but they like to do it physically. and they like to do the hands-on also. So it can't be a combination between two styles.
And they can
And
understand.
It's not, yeah, subhanallah, when we were created by Allah, we were combined from different styles, different, let's say, how we look. It's all the same. How the child take from the mother and the father, it's also the same. It will be a combination between the styles.
Indeed, definitely. When we see a lot of kids, you know, they try to fulfill or follow the footsteps of the parents, and you can see that, you know, it's like a copy of their IQ, their personality.
A lot of them, yes, they were inherited. They are inherited from the father, from the mother. The things that the father used to do, the child would be the same exact like his father, or the daughter would be like the father or like the mother.
Indeed.
You know, after this discussion, I realized the importance of having like a small class. Because, you know, if you have like a few students, or not the number of students is not very big, you are going to have time, you are going to dedicate more time in order to explain more, to deliver, to be effectively delivering your lesson. So
yeah,
this
it's
is
good
important.
having the small amount of student in the class, small number of students in class. And also it's very important to have a class homeroom teacher. For the grades 1 to 3, the teacher would be teaching the main subjects like English, math, science, the same teacher, because she understands her students. She knows their styles, she knows their weakness, and she knows their excel points. She can help work with them better than having a lot of teachers for different subjects. Each teacher, the teacher will be different in the subjects.
Indeed, but we cannot conclude without talking about the barriers that face teachers when she tries to satisfy all the learners with different styles.
Sure, the teacher would find a lot of barriers, because sometimes the thing needs to have like the student to work all together. But as we said, like some of the students, they don't like to work together. So this time that would be a barrier for the student who are solitary. They don't want to work with a group. And also it might be like having the tools for the teacher to work with if they are doing like a hands-on. They need a space on the class, and the class is very small. They cannot have the groups split it in the student group split it in groups. That would be a barrier. Most of the barriers are something that are very small, that the teacher can, by her experience and preparing good, to go over these barriers and use different styles and different tools to succeed and get the information to all students.
Indeed, and we just came to the very end of today's main discussion. But before we conclude, like one last question, what is your learning style?
As I was saying, I prefer to do things. I prefer to, I'm a visual person. I like to see things. I like to also touch them by my hand. I like to write.
Right, yes,
I prefer a lot of things to write them, so I can memorize them. And sometimes I try to tell my daughter, write. But she told me, I don't want to write. I understand, because she's different from me. She's not the same style like me. So it shouldn't be my style, her style. She might be getting her father's style. So knowing the styles is very important for you as a mother, let's say parents, or as a teacher, as a student, adult student who can understand their style and use it for having good learn.
Indeed. And definitely thank you so much, Mrs. Rula, for joining us today. Any last words of advice you would like to tell our, especially parents, because I feel they're the individuals who will be able to influence more, because a teacher, I feel like it's going to be a little overwhelmed, especially when there's a classroom of 30 students. Yeah,
it's for the parents. They need to read about learning styles, especially if they don't have any idea about it. It's good to know. When the mother is teaching the little ones, it's good for her to know that there are different learning styles, that her child, boy or girl, they would not be able to work with the way she used to work with. She needs to use different ways to help them in the house, and she needs to know that in the school they use a lot of ways, and these ways are different because there are different styles in the class, and the teachers trying to do their best to get the information for our students.
Indeed, and definitely thank you again so much, Mrs. Rula. Hopefully, it was something that's very informative for our viewers, because learning styles definitely determine of how well you do in school and how you learn a concept, whether in life, in work, or even studying. So definitely, again, thank you so much, and I cannot wait to see for next week's topic of discussion. For our viewers, that was Mrs. Rula Hajj Al Isa, who is an educational expert. Today's discussion was about learning style. So definitely, you don't want to miss her weekly segment every Sunday. So definitely, this is a good reason for you to definitely tune in on next Sunday. For now, viewers, take a quick and short break. And we'll after. Stay tuned.
Welcome back after this short break, and it was very nice discussion actually, because you know it's something very important to know how can you learn fast, because it's going to help you to learn fast, to learn effectively, and to remember the information like easier. So we should all go that. And at the beginning of my college years, I just used to do and to go online to do all these tests and exams, and many people believe that they don't help, but from my own experience I can tell that it helps, and you can understand yourself, and once you read something related to you, you can say, oh yes, this is me. So it's something help, and to understand yourself, to understand what types of learning suits you the most. It's something very important, and I advise everyone to just to Google it and to know their different learning styles.
Indeed, it's definitely something that's very important, because
Did you do the test?
I won't do tests. This is what I used to do, and this is very helpful. You know, you focus in class, because the more you focus, the less work you have to do later.
Yeah.
So I was focusing in class, and then I used to take down notes. You know, information, just take down quick notes, so you write it down, look focused, and then I used to go back home, review what I was doing, and then read a little of what the topic was, look at my notes, and then I used to do like something like a little project of what it is. I try to incorporate more hands-on regarding this. This is something that's very beneficial, because you know, you listen, you write, and you do it, so you'll be more inclined to have it in your mind. And then I try to have like a study group and try to explain it to my friends, and this was the best way.
So you did all the styles like in one process.
I was able to get very good grades, and I was very surprised, so I kept it up. You know, this is what it is. And in classroom, you just focus, because they give you all the answers. You know, they give you all the questions, they give you all the answers. And I've noticed this is what every professor does, every teacher does. That whatever is going to be in the exam, they're already discussing. So take down the notes. And there's sometimes
I did the same. Yes,
there's
it
sometimes
helps.
sneaky, you know, through a week before the questions they have, they read it and then they make sure that you understand it, and then a week later the same questions on exam. So this was definitely a good learning experience for me, and a great way for individuals to try to kind of mix it up, see the learning styles and see what works for you, kind of involve many as you can and see what works together. Maybe it's a combination or not, but at the end you have to find your own way, and I'm sure it will be very useful.
And something very important, like you said, by knowing by knowing your own style, it's going to help you to study less before the exam. So this is, I think, all the students' dreams. All the students dream about that day in which they can study little before the exam. So just if you take very short notes, small notes, it's going to help you a lot. You are going to study listen in the exam, and you are going to thank us later on by email. Thank you for telling me about the learning styles, because I didn't study and I didn't stay up late just going through the book. But now for the moment we are going to have Twitter hashtags, and we are curious to know what Sleiman is going to tell us about. But after this short break, stay with us.
Welcome back, our dear viewers. Now we jump straight into our Twitter hashtag of the day. And the first hashtag everyone in the kingdom has definitely been talking about, which is hashtag Minister of Labor. Mr. Mifraq Al-Haqbani, the Minister of Labor, has visited one of the restaurants in Unayza at Qasim region, and he tasted their food. The minister was so proud of the Saudi youth who are working on their own business, and he encouraged them to continue their career. So definitely we'll take a quick video regarding this behind me on the screen.
ما يحتاج ترى بيخلوك تحاسب مو عشانك وزير شوف سجل القصمان ما يخلونك.
Interesting video, and many people have been discussing about it, because at the end, you know, Minister of Labor or the minister himself want to encourage, you know, small business owner, especially the young Saudis. So this was definitely a words of encouragement, and congratulations for those individuals for him to give a commended review regarding this, and everyone in the kingdom has definitely been talking about it. For now, our second Twitter hashtag is going to be about hashtag Facebook. So definitely moving away a little from Twitter. Facebook's like button isn't going away, but it's about to get definitely some competition. Some company. Facebook has been testing alternatives to the like in about half dozen countries. On Wednesday, the social network will start making haha, angry, and 3 other responses available in the US and the rest of the world. In changing a core part of Facebook, the company says it tried to keep things familiar. The thumbs up like button will look just as long as it was, without the other choices cluttering the screen or confusing the people. You have to hold the button for a second or two for the alternatives, and of course the rollout is expected to take a few days. You will get the feature automatically on your web browsers, and you will need to update your app on iPhone and Android device. So definitely a lot of individuals, I'm sure you saw the difference in Facebook, the like button, you know, the haha, the angry, or the wow button. So and definitely for you to access those, you just hold the like button for 1 or 2 seconds, and it will definitely pop up a row, and you click on which one you like. And it's something that's very interesting, because it shows a little more human side to it, you know, the haha, the like, the heart button. So definitely very interesting. Let us know about what you think about the Twitter hashtag for today on our Facebook, email, and of course our Twitter, and we'll definitely be more than happy to share it on the Saudi Morning Show. For now, our dear viewers, we'll take a quick and short break, and join after. Stay tuned.
after this Twitter segment, and it was very, very nice of the Minister of Labor, Mr. Faraj Al-Hagbani, to go there and to visit different Saudi individuals, to encourage them and to motivate them. It's something very nice of him to do that. And you know, you feel good once you are surrounded by those supportive people who encourage you to help you to move up the ranks. Something very great, and we should say thank you so much for this nice behavior. And right now, for the moment, we are going to move to discuss our second main discussion for today, which is on a STEM Science Fair, or STEM Science Fair, in which it stands for STEM Science, Technology, Engineering, and mathematics. Yes, and we are going to have our guest here in the studio, who is Mrs. Anastasia Gianorisis, will be joining us here shortly, but just we should go on a break and we will be right back.
Welcome back, our dear viewers. That was a very brief break, but now we'll definitely go into a very important discussion, which is about STEM Fair, which is about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And this is something that's a very new technique or new idea of it, which is a science fair. So definitely with our next esteemed guest, Mrs. Anastasia Gianorisis, who is an elementary principal here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, will definitely have more insights and more information regarding what is STEM Fair. So assalamu alaikum and good morning, Mrs.
Good morning.
Anastasia.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Definitely thank you so much for joining us on a lovely morning like this.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Mrs. Anastasia, STEM Fair, I've heard of it a couple of times, you know, in the education sector about it. Can you tell us more? What is it?
Well, as you said, STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. It is actually a curriculum that started in the United States, and it helps students to integrate these 4 subjects together into one learning experience.
Indeed.
And our school was one of the first to implement STEM education into its curriculum.
Oh.
Yes.
So it's already implemented here in the kingdom?
No, well, we're one of the first schools.
To
We're one of the
implement it.
first schools to implement it into our curriculum, and the way we did it was through a STEM fair. So in the STEM fair, basically, the students, when they're doing their projects, they're implementing all 4 subjects when they're doing their subjects.
So I see that, you know, for here in the education sector, it's definitely been improving, especially since we're trying to get international ideas and bring it here, because we want to make sure that we are stepping up regarding this. Can you tell us about what's the purpose of holding this event? For individuals to see schools implementing the STEM fair, we already know that there's science, technology, engineering, there's already programs there, but what's so special about this program?
Because you're integrating the 4 together, okay? It's real world. In the real life, you don't, when you're out working, you're not just doing science, or you're not just doing
everything in
you're
general.
doing everything, right? And it's important because now in the future, we need to prepare our students for the future. And the future is in STEM related fields. It's high demand jobs.
The
highest paid
are
jobs.
very needed in the entire world.
Extremely needed. And the students of Saudi Arabia, if they want to compete globally and internationally, it's better to pursue those careers.
Indeed. And the innovations found in the fair, can you tell us about what's the rules and regulation regarding this fair? Is there something that competition? Is there something that they will benefit out of it?
Yes, in the STEM fair, for the lower elementary, no, not so much competition, but for the upper,
just to make it more participation.
You know, it's good for their presentation skills. It's good for them to for their critical thinking out of the box. It's good for their presentation skills and learning how to work in a team. And it's good to showcase their hard work because they spend like 6 or 8 weeks working on these science fair projects. So yes, and we do judge the upper grade.
But from your own experience, because you already implemented, how can you see the interaction between the students and this new methodology of learning in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia?
Oh, they're very excited because this is the best way to learn. It's a hands-on approach, project-based, problem-solving approach to learning. It's real world. So they.
Unfortunately,
we have a very
persistent fly at that.
Yes,
you know?
yes. Anyways, so it's the best way for children to learn, and they get very excited. You should see them. Anytime you give a child a hands-on activity, they're more engaged in the activity.
You'll be surprised of how much they learn quickly, how much their stuff they do hands-on, and you'll be surprising the creativity in it.
Oh, lots of creativity. You follow the engineering process, so they are creating something of their own. They plan it, they brainstorm it, they plan it, they create it, they test it, and then they improve on the model, and they go back and test it again. And then they reflect on it too.
It helps them with their self-confidence because you know
Very much
you feel that you feel that you do something, you succeed in doing this, you are capable of doing harder things, and it gives you like a push or a boost in order to do a harder thing.
Exactly.
Because let's say from my own experience and from what I usually see, like my friends and my community, we usually spend like too many years just studying theory.
Oh,
and then after graduation, you are going to be literally shocked because you know this is not what the job market is asking for. The job market is asking for something, and just you learn something else. You learn just something very theoretical. So this is something very good.
Yes, STEM is real world.
Yes.
Indeed. And Mrs. Anastasia, can you tell us about any sponsors or any individuals who are participating into this STEM fair?
This year we had Engineer for Kids. They actually judged our science fair and gave us our winners. So, and hopefully in the future we'll have more sponsors as it gets more popular.
I see. And tell us more about this. You mentioned that it's about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Yes. What do they do exactly? What type of stuff do they build? Is there something they build like?
Yes. For instance, we had one class. They did the evolution of the newspaper. And so they took it from the printed newspaper to the online newspaper. And there's a second grade class, mind you. And they made their own newspaper and they did a news broadcast similar to this. And you know, and so we had another class also, a third grade boys class that they were our first Lego robotics team. I don't know if you know what Lego robotics
I've heard of
is.
That. We had some groups here, and I'm surprised.
It was amazing.
I see third, fourth, fifth graders. They build stuff that it makes me wonder what I was doing when at their age.
They're third grade boys, and they're programming these robots to do space missions. And we also had a group of girls older in the upper elementary that programmed and made their own video game.
But here, Mrs. Anastasia, let me ask you this about the preparation. How it was like? Did you, as a school, did you dedicate some time for the students so they can work on their project ideas, or no? They must stick to the curriculum and they do it home. Like, how was it?
No, it was all at school. Okay, it took us 6 to 8 weeks to do because we take it very seriously. So they worked with their teachers. The lower elementary did one project per classroom, where the upper elementary, they did it on their own in groups, like a team. Okay, and they did it from, like, I don't know if you know the scientific method, they took from the research on up, engineering process, they went through the whole engineering process, and they were able to present their science projects without a problem, young as 6 years old.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Anastasia, is this the first time that this fair has been presented? First time have you been doing it, or you've been doing it for many years before?
Well, the school is quite young.
So I guess first or second time?
Yes, this is our third year, and this is actually the second annual science fair.
Second annual. So it means throughout every year you try to incorporate more of their creativity, you see what you can do more.
Right.
And what was the feedback of the students? What did they say?
Oh, the students are excited. They get really excited when it's science fair time.
Especially
and even
the winners.
their parents.
And
we're,
their
we're
parents.
very happy because they see that their sons and children can create something, can do something.
Yes, we really at Al Farsad we really love to have the parents involved, and we had many parent volunteers who helped us throughout the science fair and on the day of the science fair too.
You know, I can feel like, you know, all the hard work, the kids near the end of the competition, they're very excited because it goes to show that through 6 to 8 weeks they've been working hard, focusing.
Yes. And I don't know if you saw them on the video, but they are very excited, the kids. Yeah.
It's like you from a smile from ear to
Yes,
ear.
yes. Very excited to tell their mothers about what they did and how they did it and
And this
present
is something that, do you feel that, you know, this program, the STEM, is something that has become a great success? Do you feel that every other schools, whether international or
Yes.
government or local, should try to implement something like it? Because it's something that it shows their creativity, it shows their
Yes.
passion, and you're able
And
to determine.
innovation.
It's something, yeah, something that's very, very
innovation
creative.
and critical thinking and thinking out of the box. I hope that it's something that really becomes popular in Saudi Arabia.
Inshallah.
Yes, inshallah, in all schools.
But here, regarding the project ideas, would you please give us like samples of the ideas we're going on and whether the students or the teachers initiated those ideas? I mean, what happened in the process?
The lower elementary, of course, they're
Yeah, you
young.
have to
The
know.
teacher has to guide them a bit more. No, but the upper elementary, they imagine and they choose their own ideas. They choose their projects, and then they have to go back to the science teacher and say, is this okay? And they get approved, and then they carry on as a team, as a group, and they work together, and they go through the whole process.
And would you please give us like some of the ideas or some of their suggestions?
One team was interested in biology, and so they did a project on how does the sense of taste affect sense of smell affect your sense of taste. And actually, that was our winner.
Really?
Yeah, engineering
yes.
for kids actually chose
Very
them as our
interesting.
winner. Yeah, our winner. We had another one that was interested in physics, and they did a living model. Working model of a roller coaster. We have a lot of robotics type. We had
Very creative.
very creative.
I want to know
and technology based.
I want to know more about how your smell affects your taste.
It does. I did it with the girls.
Can you tell us more about it?
They put a potato chip in my mouth, and I had my nose plugged. I couldn't hardly taste it. When I unplugged my nose,
Really?
I could taste it much more.
So
yeah.
all the sensors somehow
Yes.
connected, they
Yeah.
realized. Oh my God, so
Yeah.
who knew? Only a third grader had to tell me this.
Yes, that's right.
So it's very exciting. And
Yeah.
can you tell us when did this fair take place and when did it end and for how long?
Usually we do it in the second semester, the beginning of the second semester, and like I said before, it took about 6 to 8 weeks.
So first semester you focus on about the preparation,
Yes,
planning,
yes.
all the hard work, then the event
yes,
starts on that.
right, exactly.
Indeed. And is there a plan to elevate it to higher level? Because from what I understood, that you're elementary principal.
Yes.
Are you in communication or kind of give the idea to middle school, high schools, any other individuals or school programs?
Within our school, we work together as a team on it, but we're hoping next year to bring it out to the community and make it more of an inner city STEM fair, so that winners from our school will compete with winners from other schools. And also, we are hoping that we can send our winners online to science fairs like Google Science Fair, which is online, which is really nice.
Imagine they go all the way to Google.
Yes, yes, and our school is working very hard actually to become one of the first STEM accredited schools from advanced ed outside of the United States.
And it's very surprising. I'm very proud of it because they're elementary students.
Yes.
Can you imagine if they start off young, the right
Exactly.
guidings, the right ideas and everything? I can imagine the winners or the people that are achieved very high, where they'll be in high school or
I'm
even
hoping,
college.
that's what we're hoping, because like we said, you know, not only Saudi, the world needs STEM related people to go into STEM related fields. It's the way of the future, so.
Indeed.
But here, Mrs. Anastasia, I have a question. I mean, regarding the STEM curriculum or as a school, for example, you have different types of learning, like the traditional way of learning, the traditional curriculum, and you have a STEM fair, or the entire school just for the STEM fair, for the STEM projects and STEM curriculum.
Yeah, our school is a traditional school. We have textbooks and such. However, STEM is integrated even in the science books that we use. There's something called the Next Generation Science Standards, Common Core and the Next Generation Science Standards, and we follow those. And our books are correlated with the next generation science standards, and within that is STEM education.
I see. So definitely
So-
there's many involved stuff regarding the program and how to
Right,
go about it.
right.
Indeed. And definitely thank you so much, Mrs.
Thank
Anastasia,
you.
for joining us today. Any
Thank
last
you.
words of advice or recommendation you'd like to tell our viewers, either education viewers or even the teachers?
I would just like to hope that STEM does become something very popular in Saudi Arabia, and it becomes part of the curriculum in all the schools in Saudi.
Indeed. So hopefully I wish you the very best. And
Thank
again,
you.
thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
Congratulations to the winners.
Thank
I'm sure
you.
they're right now watching at home while
Right.
you're speaking to them. They're very excited. That's me.
Yeah, that's right.
So definitely thank you so much.
Thank
and for
you.
our dear viewers, that was Mrs. Anastasia, who's elementary principal. And today we're discussing about the very interesting aspect and a new idea, which is STEM Fair, which is about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And we have a very persistent fly here in the studio. So definitely we'll take a quick and short break and we'll join after. Stay tuned.
Welcome back after this short break, and today's episode was education-oriented episode. We discussed like two different aspects. So, all of them are under the same umbrella, which is education, which is the foundation of successful future generation, inshallah, and which is the first thing that you need to work so hard. If you have solid education, it means you are going to have students who are able to compete globally, and this is every nation's dream, to compete globally, to prove themselves, to prove their individuality.
Indeed, this is something that's very interesting aspect, because when you have competitions like that, you involve science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This is something that that a lot of kids when they have hidden talents, they're able to show it, and you'll be surprised how creative. Because I feel like in a classroom aspect, when teacher, okay, we're learning this, that, and that. I feel like it was just a learning. It's just a mirror of what they've been taught. But this is kind of removes all those together. They give them an idea or the topic they need to focus on, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Then they can run free with it, and it really goes to show of the creativity. They will think outside the box, and I was surprised when I see of how the students, they focus about the second place winner was about the roller coaster, about physics. Something that's very creative. Think about it.
Very creative and innovative.
For a third grader to even fifth grader, something that's very creative. Physics, you learn it in high school. So something I'm very proud of individuals like that. And of course, the first place winner, congratulations, of course, which is about the newspaper, the evolution of newspaper. We used to have the old printing press, the big machines, which is in a huge rooms, back in the 50s and 40s and 20s. And then nowadays we have everything online. So it was definitely a great step from how they began, how they evolved, and how we are right now. And it's something that's very creative, because it includes science, of how definitely science, which was the ink and everything, technology, of how technology evolved, engineering, of how to engineer large machines into smaller, into something which is we have technology, and of course mathematics, which is involved in all of them. So I'm very proud of individuals who are creative. I'm sure the parents are very proud of the school, and of course the teachers, because young talented students like that, they definitely need an extra push, and of course more work to be given to them, because they are very creative.
Very true. And just, Sulaiman, I noticed something after this episode. We didn't finish it, but I noticed something till now, which is, if we give our students time, if we give them space to think in a very creative and innovative way, they prove themselves. And we as adults, we are always surprised. So it means that our students just need different methodology, just need to feel that they are engaged, and they are in the process. They are partakers in this learning process. They don't sit in the class and they don't write notes. They just don't memorize what the teacher says and then write everything back to her in the exam. No, they feel that they are involved, and they have something, they have a trademark, and they are given the space to think independently. So I'm really surprised, and I'm very optimistic about those young students who are able to think in this way, because they are very creative.
Yeah.
But because
You know,
I feel something that those students, if we take them and put them like in a very very traditional school, and we let them follow the very traditional way,
they will not be able to develop
they wouldn't
themselves.
be able to succeed and to be creative, because you know such a boost is very important to open up the mind and to encourage you to think freely, to think independently, and to be partaker.
You know, many of the creative geniuses we have now in our days, you know, role models, you know, entrepreneurs, many of them, they said, what was then that definitely highlighted or definitely assist you with it? They said, I was able to think freely and think of what's outside the box. Because if I thought just like everyone else, I will not be different. I will be the same as everyone else. And I want to stand out. So this was definitely a great example and an excellent program. And I wish them the very best. For now, our DVs will go ahead into our last segment today, which is the highlight of the day, which is about protection of youth from devastating thinking. Imam Mohammed bin Saud University held the protection of youth from devastating thinking seminar last week under the patronage of Sheikh Al-Fawzan. So definitely we'll take a quick look of this report from Jarrah. Stay tuned.
Good morning, Doctor. Thanks for joining us. What can you tell us about today's lecture by Sheikh Saleh Al-Fawzan?
First of all, I would like to thank you for interviewing me. And today's lecture is about the protection of the young guys, the youth, of the deviant thinking, deviant behaviors. Practically, it talks about how we can protect our guys, our youth, from following terrorism and extremism. So that will be delivered by His Eminence Sheikh Saleh Al-Fawzan, who will be talking about that in details. You know, he is a great scholar and he is a graduate of this university, and I think it comes in a good context.
There's a tremendous number of students who's attending right now. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the university, first of all, His Eminence Sheikh Saleh, it's not the first time he comes here. And he's well respected by all faculty and students, both males and females. And now, as we speak now, there's thousands of students in the mosque here, and also thousands of female students on the other side. And this lecture will be delivered through the net to all the religious institutes, Ma'ahad al-Ilmiyah. So it's not only the people you see now. It's a lot of people out there watching and listening carefully to what His Eminence is saying.
Welcome back after this short report, which was like a great needy activity that was held in the university, in the Imam University Mohammed bin Saud, of course. And we truly need to protect our children, our teenagers, and our young adults from all this terrorists, because unfortunately at this critical time in 2016, so much corruption, terrorism, extremism are going everywhere, and we feel that we should take like extra care in order to dedicate some time and to have like to hold more and more activities and conferences to increase awareness, to help our children and our young generation to be fully aware that this is not part of Islam, this is not linked to Islam. Islam is the religion of peace. So such actions are not included, are no way to be included or to be a part of this religion. So we need that, and thank you so much. And in the future, we hope to see like more and more activities and conferences discussing and increasing awareness in these particular areas, because we truly need that at this in 2016. But by now, we came to the very end of today's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it just like the way we did. As for me, Hanan Al-Mekbel and my colleague Sliman Shaifi, thank you so much for watching us. Stay very healthy, and inshallah tomorrow is going to be, I think, Sliman as well with Nihad Aziz. So see you inshallah next time. Stay healthy.